It's movie time, and we're back again with movie time. Hey, everybody, we're back again, and happy Wednesday. Sorry that we weren't able to join you on Friday as we had promised, but I'm sorry Yom Kippur got in the way, and now we're back. We all broke fast, and here we are with you tonight. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, of course, is our co-host, Olaf. Hey, Olaf, how you doing?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. It's been another great day in the wonderful state of Indiana. Been just a
Uh-huh.
lovely day.
Sweet. And with me, of course, is Arpo from a remote location. Arpo,
Yes, yes. Shh.
not too
I'm in,
loudly.
a, I'm in a cabin in the woods.
Yes.
Man, it's something. But at least it gets me away from WC.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who were listening to last Wednesday's show, yes, that is who I heard at the door on the cliffhanger ending.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Welcome back home, WC. Is he
Yeah,
protecting the house right now?
yes, he is. And I don't even want to think about what he's doing with Maxine.
Nope. We'll just
But
have to find out when you get back.
yes. So, yeah, they're taking care of things. And I am up here in beautiful Lake Villa near the bustling hub of business known as Chicago.
Chicago,
Chicago,
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
And all that jazz.
Yeah, they're just jealous because
Hey, I'm going there
Catherine
next week.
Catherine made me French fries. Thank you, Catherine. I love you.
There you go. He's munching on your fries. So, which also means that it's like I'm guessing that Olaf, you want to introduce our show tonight, our very first topic.
I can do that. It's like the very first topic is quite an interesting one. It has to do with a little fun thing that people like to go to called Comic Con, and about how it's like there was a gag order, judge's gag order put on the Comic Con. Oh no, why was that? Well, evidently Comic Con, that's like the San Diego Comic Con, is trying to get it to where nobody else can use the words Comic Con. They're trying to trademark it for just them. So all these other conventions and everything that's like that's all the other Comic Cons around the nation would have to stop using the word Comic Con, which I don't know that it's going to happen. What do you think?
Mm, I'm not sure because I don't think you could trademark a name like that.
Not when it's one that's been used so many times in so many different locations. It's like all of a sudden they're making a big stink about it now. Yes, we all know that they are the biggest Comic Con in the country, possibly in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give them exclusive rights
No, because there's
to
so
the
many.
words Comic Con.
Like I said, there are so many. I mean, even this month, every month there are, you know, dozens of conventions, and there a lot of them are like like Chicago Comic Con, Indianapolis Comic Con. There's a lot of them that use a Comic Conner to be like say, well, I was just at Scarefest, but over the weekend I was at Scarefest.
Uh huh.
But also in Lexington, they have there's a Lexington Toy and Comic Con. So
Nice.
you know, there's too many there's too many entities that use those two words, Comic Con.
Yes.
If I mean, it would just change. It's like it would. They wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't put it on their literature anymore. If it actually came to be that San Diego got exclusive rights to the Comic Con name,
Yes.
but you know, people are still going to refer to uh, all the different Comic Cons or all the different Comic Cons around as whatever it's been known for the last 10 years.
Exactly. Well, another thing that actually baffled me on this one was the fact that it's like, okay, yes, Comic Con, there's like the main one that's in San Francisco. Okay.
San Diego.
San Diego.
Sorry, in San Diego. But there are many different cons that are going on over the years. It's like, are they trying to say, okay, and you have to be something else, or are they just sitting there saying, no, we want to just trademark Comic Con
Well,
in this
even
article?
it's like that's what they were, I guess, talking about. They wanted to trademark the Comic Con, but in doing that, if they actually got that passed, you realize that they would be in court for the rest of their lives because
Yes.
they would be any of these little. I mean, there's you have the conventions that draw 300 or 400 people, and you have the ones that draw 70 or 80,000 people. I mean, there's all different size conventions that use the words Comic Con. You know,
Yep.
they would spend all their time in court trying, with cease and desist orders to all these conventions that are using Comic Con in their name.
I think it's more insidious than that. I think they want to trademark the name Comic Con so they can charge all these other conventions if they want to use the name Comic Con.
Well, that's what I mean. They would. It's like, well, yeah, that too. In other words, they would be,
Yeah.
a cease
You know,
and
we,
desist,
we own the
or
trademark on that. If you want to call your thing a Comic Con, you have to pay us $500 or $5,000 or whatever.
whatever. Yeah, that's what I said. That's where the cease and desist, and then they'd be in court all the time. In legal battles, going, okay, you have to give us X amount of dollars so that you can use the
Yep.
comic Comic Con words.
Well, I'll tell you what, San Diego, I'll meet you halfway. We'll let you trademark the name San Diego Comic Con, and nobody else will be allowed to use that name.
Yeah. Only they want the whole thing.
Well, I'm trying to meet them halfway.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
there is Comic Con and then there's Comic Con. So it's like, are you asking? It's like, then if you're trying to say you're the only Comic Con, it's like, yeah, technically you are. They're all calling themselves Comic Con. So in its own way, you've carved your own niche, and people in the comic and graphic community and in cosplay communities, it's like they know where they're going. So it's going to cause more harm than good to keep doing that, because what you're going to do is it's like they're already calling it mundane and redundant in a lot of
Yeah.
places.
Okay, I got a
So
new deal. They can trademark Comic Con, Comic-Con.
exactly.
That can be theirs. Everybody else can have a Comic Con with no hyphen.
Exactly.
It's two different things.
And that would be making much more sense.
Well, technically, in other words, all you have to do is change it 10%, and it's not the same, not considered the same thing. So if taking out the hyphen would qualify as that 10% change, then okay, go ahead, trademark it, Comic hyphen Con.
And again, that's one of
only
those.
that's only nice. That's 1/9.
Well, there
So
you go.
there you go.
There you go. Go ahead and trademark your comic hyphen con. Everybody else can just remain with the comic con without the hyphen. That's 10% change.
Yep.
It's not the same thing.
Nope.
Yep.
And I'm sure that the Ninth Street District Courts will also concur with that as well. But that remains again to be seen. And once again, I must reiterate the plea for a lawyer to come on the show to straighten out all these legal matters with us.
Because there's so darn many.
Yeah, it's like we love debating legal matters, and we would love to hear from a couple of lawyers on here to tell us, so, what's their opinion? What's going on with all of this? So,
Hey.
now, ARPA, which brings us to the next article. What is our next amazingly fascinating article?
Well, YouTube is planning to take on Netflix and Hulu.
So
They have just, they've just brokered a deal with Morgan Spurlock, who we all remember from Super Size Me,
Yes.
or his sequel, Super Size Me 2, Holy Chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone with them. It's not as much money as he would make from Netflix or Hulu, but he doesn't care. YouTube has 1.8 billion viewers. He wants his documentary to be where people are going to see it.
Right.
Yep.
So let me ask you, when they get this all worked out, is the with YouTube? I guess they got their YouTube Red, but then they would have to, kind of, I guess, come up with a little bit different name. So I guess their new name would be Unetlu.
No, this is the
No.
YouTube Red channel.
Oh, it's like, but
Like
it could
you,
be.
or you, not you.
It's like it's like Unetlu. Yeah, Unetlu. Or
Yeah.
who you net. who you net. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but it's really nice so that YouTube does want to become a player in the game. And this has been going on for a while, that basically what they want to do is they want to spread out the love, because between between places like Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, all of that, it's like you're looking at a vast market. And just like there was many stations that competed for each other in the television market, I'm guessing that, people are starting, and now with Disney wanting to pop and sprout their own as well, it's like I'm guessing that people are starting to say, okay, there has to be more room for Jello. And yeah, it's like then maybe what you'll be doing is flipping through different ones and different subscription services and seeing which one works for you.
Yeah.
Well, when you, it's like, I guess when you really look at it, though, I mean, YouTube has a pretty big. I mean, they have a huge market, because
Yes.
you got all these skateboarders and mountain bikers and stuff, where they are constantly uploading stuff to YouTube, and you're trying to fix your car or find out something's wrong with your car, and your mechanic says it's this hugely expensive thing. A lot of people go to YouTube, and they do a Google. They maybe Google it, but then they go to YouTube and go, "Oh, well, here's how you fix that." I mean, I do that myself. I do that myself sometimes if I can't quite figure out how to fix something, or having a problem with it's like, well, having a problem with a car.
And the thing is, too, YouTube is offering to do an awful lot for him. Probably as much, if not more, than you might get from Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
They're paying him $3.5 million to be the streamers of the documentary, but they are also committing to a theatrical release and a hefty marketing spend. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is. I mean, that's just wow. But Hulu, YouTube versus Netflix and Hulu, without really looking at stats or whatever, I'd say that YouTube has a bigger, they have a larger audience to start with.
See, Netflix has always been known as commercial free. YouTube has not offered necessarily commercial free content.
Right.
That is another thing that it's like, it is one of the things that turn me off from wanting to go onto YouTube Red. I don't want to pay for a service. I have to have a commercial ahead of time to watch my movie. If I'm going to go and pay for something, I'm going to want to watch the movie directly.
I know.
And for a lot of people, that seems to be a huge sticking point.
Well, it was one of the things that I disliked that I finally stopped with Hulu. Was they had all the commercials, and then they did this thing where, okay, you don't have to have the commercials if you pay us an extra $4.99 a month.
Yes.
It's like, what the hell's that?
Yeah, if you're paying a premium for a service, why do I have to look at commercials?
Precisely.
It's like, if I'm going to pay you money, I don't want to have to look at commercials. So
exactly.
If I'm getting it for free, okay, put your commercials in the front, or on, put them in the front. You got to watch the half a dozen commercials, then you get to watch your movie.
Yeah, I have issues though of the fact that it's like if I pay for content, like if I'm paying something like a Netflix, a YouTube, a Hulu, any of those things, I have a very huge issue of having to watch commercials.
Right.
There's already enough people that it's like if I want to watch commercials, I'm going to, it's like I can watch it on DVD.
I was going to say, if I wanted to watch commercials, I would have gone to the theater to see it.
Yes.
Right.
And
remember when you used to go to the theater to get away from commercials?
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things of also, it's something that the theatrical industry has got to start taking a look at. I understand you have corporate sponsors. I understand you want to do your advertising. You have to understand you're also taking your audience off. Because commercials ahead of the movie, I'm not talking about previews. Previews everybody loves to see.
Right.
Gee, what's coming out? Kind of curious. Yeah. But sure. I don't want to see the commercials for your favorite Coke brand or whatever.
Yeah.
On there.
Right. They did
even the trivia things are cool.
Right. That was done for a little while though. You could actually, if you wanted to advertise your business, you could, for a certain amount each month, your little 30-second spot would be preloaded or be entered in with the previews, and goes out to all the theaters, and so many times a day it plays.
Yes. I don't, you know what? I'll say I don't even mind having those commercials like before even the previews are coming up, because that doesn't bother me quite so much. What does bother me is when the lights are going down, we're about to start the movie. I want to see previews only, and then start me my movie.
Right.
I don't want to see any commercials at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
All of the commercials could have ran straight before that. Because if I'm there 20 minutes early before the movie's going to start anyways, or the previews are going to start, you can run me commercials then. You can run me trivia things then. It doesn't bother me at all. Because most people, that's when they're going to be, if they're in an Alamo theater or like that, ordering food. And, having conversations and going, oh my God, I can't wait for this. And, gee, what do you want to do? That would be your time to enlighten me on a food choice or a meaningful message.
Right.
That would be your time that you get my attention. But once you start doing that in the middle of a premiere, after especially previews, then you are having a problem. And now having it on YouTube and having it on a lot of these other stations, it's starting to become one of those, okay, this isn't even a preview of another movie before my movie. This is somebody's commercial for their product that I don't really want interfering with my movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, it comes down to taste.
It's bad enough I'm probably going to have to see your product in my movie.
Potentially.
Yes.
I don't want to see the advertisement for it, no matter how good it is. I don't
Right.
mind seeing even product placement within a movie if it's not done like a 2-hour thing like that did for the intern, 2-hour Google commercial.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, we get it. We're in Google. Yeah, we totally get it. A company who does not do any sort of humanitarian acts, or any sort of community social things. It's like, yeah, we get it. You work for Google.
Yeah.
Or any sort of corporate sponsorship whatsoever. But it's like, yeah, so we had a 2-hour Google commercial. I understand that. But it's like, that got to be a little bit also annoying. I don't mind product placement in a movie when it comes down to a subtle one. Or like the way that they did it in Wayne's World, where they blatantly did it for comedic effect.
Yes, that was wonderful.
Because it was product placement, but it was funny.
It was. It made me laugh hysterically. I was like, oh my God, this is just so funny. It made me.
And they probably got more mileage out of those particular product placements in Wayne's World than they did in any other movies that they put in. They probably got more response from the Wayne's World way of doing it than their other ways.
Yeah.
Because it made us laugh. Because, right. They were finally saying, how obvious it is.
Right.
Yeah. And we will not pander to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, that doesn't mean that I want to see all product placements done like Wayne's World. That's just
no. I just thought it was very clever way that they did that particular one.
It's like most Saturday Night Live sketches. It was funny once. When you start doing it again and again and again, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it loses its funny.
Yeah. Now in another, it's like it's like a remake of Wayne's World or Wayne's World 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, that's part of Wayne's World. Leave it in there, but leave it in Wayne's World. Don't take it to other
movies. I definitely want another Wayne's World. That I will say. Mike Myers, if you are listening to this show, or anybody who loves Mike Myers, please tell him that we want another Wayne's World.
Yes. Yes, America needs comedy. We need Wayne's World comedy.
Yes. Definitely we need a Wayne's World comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's like, and yes, have Tia Carrere join you too. In there. It's like, I would love to see what happened between.
And Dana Carvey, because I think he needs the work.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so there you go. That is our 2 cents worth of things that should be brought to cinema for all of us who loved Wayne's World.
Right.
Because you can never have too much Tia Carrere. She is one fine woman.
So
I know I'm objectifying.
Mm-hmm.
She's very attractive. She's very attractive.
Yes, there you go. Much better. And it's like, what is our code? We do not objectify people. So,
damn.
Yep. We have a code of conduct. It's like, yes.
My life has been sheer hell since this code of conduct thing started.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's like next thing on the blocks. It's like so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what YouTube will do to also differentiate themselves from the crowd. That I have to admit, I'm a little curious about that.
Yeah. Well, they
Well,
should do
they'll
okay.
probably do a they'll probably do a YouTube video about them doing YouTube stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah. But they've got Google's $86 billion to work with. So,
They should
Yeah.
be able to do something then.
yep.
Yeah, it's like I look forward to seeing, like I said, what the future brings for all of us who are super, super curious about this.
As much as I look forward to seeing Jigsaw.
About that much, yes.
Cool.
And hey, there's a movie going to be coming out before too long. Maybe it could wind up on YouTube.
Maybe, and it's like also, as I said, YouTube it has become a very big player as of late for a lot of movies, including that Tanya movie that we had spoken about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, again, folks, think about this. It's not just for breakfast anymore.
Nope.
But it can be.
Oh, it can be, yes. So it's like it's the other lunch meat.
It's hit. Yep. The other white meat. Yay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moving forward to there, we have article number 3. Now this one brings us our hugest controversy of the night.
So, of course, she's taking credit for it, even though I found it.
No, this one, I was going to say that. Thank you, Arpo. Yes, he did. It was the first one that he found for us. And now this one is one to really be talked about. Harvey Weinstein's lawyer battles New York Times, New York over potentially exploitive article. Exclusive. Now, it's like, according to it, Harvey Weinstein has enlisted a team of attorneys to fight the planned articles that are said to talk about his personal behaviors. This article does not go on to say what these personal behaviors are and what is so damaging in the article that's being alleged, which has led us to believe that it's even more curious as to why you would want to hide these behaviors. Because if all it is drunk partying behavior, why do you care?
More importantly, why do you need this whole army of big name lawyers?
Yes.
If it's just some little personal peccadillo that is harmless.
Yeah. Or
Obviously, this is going to be some shocking revelation if it's made.
Yes. And
or in assembling this, or he thinks it's going to be some monumental thing, and he's put together this incredibly diverse legal team to handle everything, and maybe it's not going to be as bad as what he thinks. Who knows?
it could just be a tempest in a teapot by the time that this is done.
It could turn out to be a case of libel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In which case, he would certainly want to lawyer up.
Now, on that side, however, I'm going to. It's like unless it's something like the things that we had made mention of on the show prior to this. Now, those charges would be a very serious leveling of charges. Again, some of these proclivities and behaviors does not warrant a need for a restraining order of any sort whatsoever, unless what they are doing is something nefarious.
Right.
You know what they say, if you have nothing to fear, then why lawyer, especially that heavily?
Yeah.
And, which leads to believe that maybe some of of what they are saying is not sensationalist, but true.
Well, he's always had a reputation as a bully.
Yes. But this has become now, okay, focusing the spotlight on this, no less.
Yeah.
So
it's like if that's how they're reporting, then why would he lawyer up? I mean, that's been said about him for what, 20 years now?
Yes.
That he's one of the bigger bullies in Hollywood.
And again, it's like, would that really cause this ripple in his world? I just find it very interesting that he is choosing to do this now.
Right.
Yeah, before the story comes out.
Yeah. So that's yet another thing. It's like, okay, if this article was so hugely explosive that it absolutely was an untrue article, how dare they do this? Oh my God, how can you libel somebody in that manner? Then why don't you let the people hear what this article is all about? Why is it suddenly, oh, I need to hide whatever is in this article? Why is it such a big secret?
Inquiring minds want to know.
The subject is said to be Weinstein himself and not the business operation of the Weinstein Company.
Yes. And again,
so this, whatever this is, it's a personal attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like in the article, it did mention that they had been interviewing past and present employees and stuff. So I guess they're trying to dig whatever they're digging for as much as they can get.
Yes.
Yes. And it is of note to say that Weinstein has engaged Lisa Bloom, who specializes in sexual harassment cases.
Yeah. So again, sexual harassment case, Harvey Weinstein. Again, if you didn't engage in these behaviors, why the secrecy?
Right.
Why do you need to be so veiled about it?
Yeah. Basically, what we're not accusing him of anything. We're just asking, what are you trying to hide?
And what it's actually telling me, in its essence, by him doing this, it's are you hiding it because you have done something that would not be considered to be legal?
No.
Nah.
Or approved by general societal acceptances?
I would think it would be.
Harvey Weinstein himself has made the statement to the Hollywood Reporter, where this article we're talking about appears, like so many of the articles we talk about each week. The Hollywood Reporter, people, it's must reading.
It's a very interesting read, yes.
But Harvey Weinstein said, the story sounds so good, I want to buy the movie rights, which is his typical arrogant way of trying to sound like, oh, I don't care what it is they're trying to say about, Well, obviously, sir, you do care.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't be hiring all of the top lawyers
to come
in a number of very different areas.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, to make sure that when you go in, you're loaded to the T's with lawyers.
Yeah.
They can handle whatever comes at them. You've got a lawyer that specializes in that. So yeah, just get ready for the gunfight.
Yeah, which also comes to the bottom line of, is it really prudent than to do what you're doing. You know, it's like if something was coming out that was accusing me and I'm an innocent person in this matter, I'd want the article to come out. I'd be like daring them to put it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be getting. It's like if I get ahead of it, it's because it's so slanderous to me or so libelous to me. Then it's like you may as well say what the libelous thing is that they're accusing you of.
Yeah.
If you defend your action and say, well, it's like I didn't, it was not me who did this, and I have no idea why I'm being accused of doing what I did. You know, people are going to tend to want to go, oh, well, maybe he is having, false accusations thrown at him. But the way that it is right now, he's making it very obvious that there may be issues with this. Because why would you care?
Exactly.
You know, it's that whole sticks and stones thing. If it really isn't, and if it's like, okay, you have a proclivity towards younger people, or you have a proclivity toward, like, again, and what behaviors could possibly, again, the mind does boggle. And now what happened is by exposing it, by I'm getting a bunch of lawyers to stop this article from coming out, it's like obviously what you're doing is proving validity to the article.
Right.
Yes. And getting people to wonder, what are you trying to keep hidden? To paraphrase Shakespeare, the producer doth protest too much, methinks.
Yes. And he does. So maybe one of the things that he could do is, if he wants to be on top of it all, is he could have turned around to say, you know what? It's like if that article comes out, at that point in time, you could deny it. You can be like, no, that's not me. That's not the way that I am. And put a spin on it of, this was caught during a vulnerable moment.
Right.
In my life, and it simply doesn't happen like this anymore, or whatever the reasoning or rationale behind it. Again, it's one of those things of, we are not inside their head, but the fact that he is getting this article now to do this
Right.
only makes you wonder, why hide what you're doing? Is it because you're doing something illegal, unlawful? Are you doing something that would create harm for someone else?
Are you doing something that people might consider to be unethical? Oh, wait, what am I saying? This is Hollywood, of course.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What did you think that this was? And again, he could be perfectly innocent in this whole thing. But whatever it is, obviously, it's something to deal with his private life. And even if it was something so benign, it's like, as I said, the fact that he does go, oh my God, I don't want to expose. I'm even going so far as to sue. You're kind of putting the guilt there, dude.
Right.
Yeah, you're creating a whirlwind around you that, may be a tempest in a teapot.
Yeah.
But how much more damage are you doing to yourself by reacting to the story this way, instead of just saying, fine, print the story, and if there's anything libelous in it, I'm going to sue you.
Yeah.
Right.
I intend to sue you for slander. if there's anything in there that I deem to be libelous.
Yeah.
Or defamation of character.
Yeah.
So
why are you pulling all these lawyers to try to stop the article?
Yeah.
What are you so afraid of?
Which again holds the validity to, is it legit of what they are actually saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it is. So again, we are not saying that, yes, this is a legit article or that it's absolutely necessary. But what we are saying is kind of sounding suspicious, dude. When you...
We're saying apologize for Corey Haim! No, we're not.
And that's possible. But again, we are not doing any accusatory behaviors.
No.
Whatsoever. We here at Movie Time do not do accusatory
for comic intent and not intended to, be a reporting of fact.
Correct. Whether valid or invalid.
Yes.
So there you go. We've also now indemnified ourselves all in one sentence.
Yes.
So in regards to that, it's like, yes, let the article come out. What's the worst that happens with it?
Yeah.
So it embarrasses you for a couple of days.
Probably not be the first time, won't be the last, so.
No. Was it not embarrassing enough to be for years, in a company that it's like did not had a string of non-successes for a while there? Did you not worry about that more than anything else? And really, if nothing else, this is probably going to be great publicity for you. For a lot of people who don't remember who Harvey Weinstein is. Might want to look at it from that point of view as well. It puts your name back on the map. What do you all think?
And again, it's like with being known that he's putting together this super legal team. Again, it's like there's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah. One of the things I find very interesting is that it's like by putting together this legal team, you're actually going to have to say what the article was about as to why you don't want it in an open court.
This is true.
Then aren't you technically putting it out there anyway?
Right.
Well, it can be a closed court procedure.
Yeah. But then again, it will bring in what is he trying to hide? Brings in that same mystique. Why does it have to be a closed court procedure? It's like if he's done nothing wrong.
It adds a bit of mystery to it. Even though he's done nothing wrong, it's like going, why did it have to be a closed court? Oh my gosh, it must be really bad. Nah.
Yeah.
Again, the reverse effect of what you're looking for.
But still gets his name back out there in the press.
Yep. And like I said, this could just be a massive publicity stunt. Meant for dramatic effect.
And it's working.
Yes.
Or if he could be really scared that something's going to come out that he doesn't want people to know.
Yep. Well, if it was what we were thinking, then it's like then finally thankful that it would. Sorry, you have to call a spade a spade.
Well, you don't have to, but it makes more sense to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sure beats calling a spade a club.
Very true.
Although you can club someone with a spade. I've seen it done.
Yes, true. It does work just as equally.
Yeah.
I think you can also do that really well in France, just like whelming.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to our final piece tonight for you all on this wonderful Wednesday. And now this one is quite the little treat. Because we
Yes,
figure. Now, before we, Arpo, you announce this last article, may we say two final farewells, unfortunately, in our world of passing? Olaf, would you like to announce our final farewells?
Yes, it comes with, heavy hearts and things that we've lost two more in the last few days. We lost Hugh Hefner, like the creator of Playboy magazine and the whole Playboy empire. So he has now moved on to the non-Playboy side, I guess. And then the other, in the musical world, we lost Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And that's like, so hearts go out to both Hugh Hefner's family and friends, and also to Tom Petty's family and friends.
Yeah.
Tom Petty was only 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to death.
May he rest in peace. It's like nobody likes cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
And
but in this day and age, really, in this day and age, 66 is too young to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now, and it's like the last few that have gone have been, and they've gone young.
Yeah.
40s, 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, Hugh Hefner, who is famed, of course, for his excesses, lived well into his 90s.
Was it
91?
96.
91.
That's right.
No, yeah, you're right.
No, it was 96. Wasn't it 96?
I think it was 96.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whether you liked Playboy or didn't like Playboy, or was a fan of Playboy, Playgirl magazines, any of those things, it's like you do have to admire the fact that it's like he was he did have legendary status as an empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he gave the start to a lot of people in terms of restarting their careers, as well as also, again, a lot of people will say, the whole thing about the articles. Yeah, there are articles that they had there, and again, he is an icon in the industry. And also, whether you liked it or hate it,
some of the best fiction. Yeah. And we're talking of the non-pornographic variety, unlike some sleaze magazines.
Yeah.
Which we won't mention.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. So, yeah, he is sadly missed. And Tom Petty, who didn't love CCR?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I am not a country music fan by any means. They were folksy. They were delightful.
And he had a hell of a good solo career.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
And Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I remember, like I said, Europe tour, Europe in '92. It's like hearing "Life Is a Highway" on the tour just made me happy.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he part of the Traveling Wilburys too?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, that was one outstanding CD.
Yep.
Just some of the best in the business.
Yep. So, honestly, he's a legend that will be missed. And I'm so, and like Olaf said, I am so sorry for your passing.
Yes.
And wishes and prayers with your family, and a sad Mishuberach to all of you who looks like this is affected. We lost. It's like in its own way, there's a lot of great legends, and now there isn't. Which brings us to something a little less legendary, but very cool. Our
Very
boat
much.
segueing to our last article of the night.
Variety has released what they consider to be the 10 best new graphic novels of 2017 so far.
Yep.
And I will start off the list. We can all take turns.
Yep.
With Black Cloud, a sharp and vivid urban fantasy. Black Cloud achieves the rare feat of covering new ground in one of the most familiar genres in comics. While steeped in relevant contemporary issues, it always puts the story and characters ahead of those issues, calling attention to the fact that while politics is an uncomfortable subject for some, there are many more for whom it is an inescapable reality.
Nice.
Yes, it sounds to be very, very, well, as I said in the thing, relevant book for our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like it's something of very interesting read. Olaf, would you like to do number 2?
Number 2 would be Shade, the Changing Girl. A semi-revamp of an old Steve Ditko comic. Ditko comic. Shade is one of those comics that uses the visual medium to perfectly capture the strangeness of adolescence. It's part of DC's Young Animal line. The Jared Ray.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like numbers of my Chemical Romance fame, co-published imprint aimed at recapturing some of the 1990s Vertigo comics magic.
I mean,
Nice.
Vertigo Comics really hit its peak in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me, very interested in this. Also, the fact, trivia time, Steve Ditko was the artist who teamed with Stan Lee to create Spider-Man.
Ah.
Yes. I thought his name sounded familiar. So there you go. It's like that sounds like quite a fun set of graphic novel. And again, if you are a fan of the whole Spider-Man genre, you're a fan of that sort of stuff. It's like I think that you will quite enjoy that graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 on the list, Moon Knight, Reincarnations. Well, Marvel's noir superhero Moon Knight doesn't have the household name sort of following that some of the other superheroes do. He still gets some of the most interesting writing in the whole of the superhero genre, thanks to the Times best-selling author Jeff Lemire. A reality-bending trip of explicitity foregrounds mental health issues in a way that its superhero book dares. Moon Knight's Reincarnation shows us there can be a Caped Crusader that there's more than just a chiseled jawline and teen angst clothing. So, interesting.
Those of you not familiar with Moon Knight, Despite his white costume, he's a very dark character. You thought Batman was dark? You thought The Dark Knight was dark? Nothing compared to Moon Knight.
Yeah.
This guy was borderline insane. And from what they're describing here, it sounds like he may be crossing the border.
So it sounds like something that we would definitely want to see.
Yes.
For those who like
Yeah.
Marvel, again, this is the one for you.
If you are a Marvel fan, you have probably seen Moon Knight. He did crossovers in many of their major books. So, yes, this is a chance to maybe see how the whole thing ends.
Yep. Or begins, since they're calling it reincarnation.
True.
Or how
And now,
or how it begins again.
True.
yes. But now, let's go back to the joys of Saturday morning, kids, with the He-Man Thundercats team up.
I totally want this.
The dreams of fan fiction do come true. In this crossover team-up comic, the beloved campy 1980s cartoon hero He-Man teams up with everyone's favorite anthropomorphic cat alien superheroes to stop the villainous Mum-Ra from taking over the planet Eternia and gathering the power of the Masters of the Universe. It's like Saturday morning again, whatever you want, when He-Man and a super buff sword-wielding cat take on a spooky mummy.
Yeah, I am
It
looking
just sounds
forward.
It sounds like fun, fun, fun.
It sounds like they're taking the best of He-Man and bringing it out and all of that. It's like, I'm just sitting there going, yeah. It's like for all of us who have very vivid memories of this, like He-Man, Thundercats, all of that. This is definitely one for you, for all of us.
Yes.
You know, and I have nothing but fond memories of that stuff.
Oh yeah. So, now, just so that you all know, nothing lasts forever. This is a graphic memoir. This graphic memoir is a touching testament to the unique power of the medium and its ability to capture the richness and the heartbreak of everyday life. Because nothing lasts forever. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. I'd see it. So.
Yeah. It sounds to me, and I can't think of the person's name right off the top of my head, so I'm trying to look up the movie they made about him that was based on his comic books. Da-da-da-da.
You're not finding it.
It's terribly sad here now. I know. See, I should have done this while we were. There we go. The works of Harvey Pekar, who wrote American Splendor and Our Year with Cancer. He was an underground comic book artist, and this sounds very similar to his work. Because that's what he wrote about, was the heartbreak of everyday life. But I know that our hostess with the mostest is very
Mm-hmm.
excited about the next one.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm like, yeah. When I sit there and I'm like, yes. And for all of you DC fans, who I am a huge DC fan, it's like, this is great. Wonder Woman year one.
Woohoo.
It's like, whenever you've been a Wonder Woman partisan since the 40s or just discovering DC's most enduring female lead, thanks to the movie starring Gal Gadot, and this her cover collection serves as your perfect update of Diana of Themyscira and takes a rightful place in the superhero pantheon. Well, as far as I'm concerned, she has taken her that, but at the same time, this is an amazing, and I do mean amazing thing. Year one, hello, yeah, and they are selling it, by the way, courtesy of Amazon for all of those who want to buy it. $13.59, $14. So for $14, you can own Wonder Woman.
Yes.
So go Amazon.
And who wouldn't want to own Wonder Woman for $14? I mean,
There,
it's especially that. I mean, I am assuming that this is going to be not just the 40s origin as it appeared, but maybe, some of the untold story.
yes. Obviously, they're continuing the whole thing from Themyscira's point of view.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. It would make me want to see have a graphics novel. So perhaps it may be something that you all would look forward to as well. Something a little bit exciting, a little bit new and creative. On to number 7.
And for those of you who like autobiographical things, I don't think you can do much better than The Best We Could Do. This is T. Boy's brilliant semi-autobiographical novel detailing a minute, touching, and profoundly evocative history of her Vietnamese American refugee family. The Best We Could Do makes a great case for the immediacy of the graphic novel form, lending a poetic sense of humanity to a situation that all too often gets simplified in the headline.
Nice.
This is not fresh off the boat.
No.
This is the real story of what it's like to be a relocated and repatriated Vietnamese family in America.
Mm-hmm. So.
And it's not pretty.
No.
No.
And that's the whole thing, is that it's a little bit, giving you a much more realistic point of view.
Yes. And about time, I must say.
Yes. And I'll say, way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we're starting to also get some multiculturalism in graphic novels.
Yeah. And I apologize if I mispronounced her name. I believe that's correct, but I'm not 100% sure. So apologies if I mispronounced the Louis' name.
Yeah. But yeah, that sounds like an interesting novel for times to come.
So, on to number 8.
Indeed.
And this just seems to be like right in, sort of kind of like in my thing. Everything is flammable.
They're talking about your job.
They're talking about me. It's like everything is flammable. Yay! This poetic and raw story, drawn from a personal narrative of a fire-destroyed California home, merges Bell's unique take on the quietly surreal with a hauntingly lucid and spare storytelling style.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so. It's like was it Gabrielle? It's like Gabrielle Bell. It's like tells about losing her house to fire. Wow,
Yeah.
that definitely be a interesting read.
Yeah. It's like it's definitely going to be an interesting read when it comes down to it. So, and definitely one that it's like, again, graphic novel going into a really good place of a more realistic point of view.
Right.
Yes, which they don't do often enough. And yet, when you think about it, the graphic novel is the perfect format for stories like this.
Absolutely. And this one, number 9, I'm sorry, even classical literature is an awesome thing in a graphics novel. We have Beowulf.
Mm-hmm.
David Rubin and Santiago Garcia's riveting new Beowulf takes one of the oldest stories in English literature and helps with the graphic form, finds new angles on it. Who says you can't teach an old sea dog new tricks? A masterful volume makes it seem as though the 8th century Anglo-Saxon battle epic was meant to be a graphics novel all along. Actually, truthfully, it probably was.
Well, if you've read the original Beowulf, and if you have, then congratulations, because I couldn't make head or tail out of it. I'm hoping that this is going to be one of the more accurate renditions of the story, because the story of Beowulf is such a good basic. I mean, Beowulf is like the original superhero.
Yeah.
So, it's such a good basic tale to start with. And Hollywood has just cheapened it up with all that crap.
In bastardization of the original story, yes.
Yes. And, it'll be refreshing to see it the way it should be seen. And I'm hoping that is the case with this book. I do know this is, even though it's just over $20, it is on one of my must-read binge lists.
Yes. And I kind of would like to see this, what this new take is to what they're saying. It's like I am kind of curious about this.
And you, Mr. Olaf?
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be. It's like it'd be definitely an interesting read.
Yeah.
It's like because I've watched. I said I've seen some of the Beowulf stuff, so it would be interesting to uh, see what the difference between what's the movie and what this is.
Definitely.
So, I started it off. I get to finish it off. And it's probably going to come to, as no surprise to anybody that I consider it an honor to tell you about the book. My favorite thing is monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Drawn in a lush, painterly style.
Yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry. Drawn in a lush, painterly style that evokes old EC Comics horror genre masterpieces and an era that many called a high watermark for comic illustration. Emil Ferris's Fantagraphics debut conjures up a Twilight Zone world set in a 1960s whose paranoia and haunted secrets parallel those of our own time.
Ooh.
I have read reprints of some of the original EC horror comics. And unsurpassed for horror art. Just amazing stuff. And if this is anywhere close to that, oh my God.
You're in for a treat, folk.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be down for that.
And besides, who didn't like Twilight Zone?
Exactly.
I mean,
Rod Serling.
Rod
Yeah.
Serling was able to sell CBS on doing a weekly anthology of science fiction and horror stories, and didn't tell them that what he was actually doing was a weekly anthology of parables about society.
Yeah.
The man was a genius.
Yep. Still, it's like to this day, unrivaled. For all intents and purposes, he was, one could almost say, almost like the American Hitchcock.
That's right. Although towards the end, Hitchcock practically was American, wasn't he?
He was, but still, I love the man for being British.
Yes.
And with that, it's like we are encouraging you all, check out any one of these graphic novels. Go to your libraries, go buy them off of websites. It's worth it.
Yes. And I mean, I have to say, they came up with an excellent list of 10 titles, most of which I've never heard of, but as soon as I read about them, I was like, yeah, I want to read that.
Yeah, you were definitely hooked on the book.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what? I would say give it a shot. With any one of them. I don't think you could possibly go wrong.
Nope, that's
Indeed.
all some really good titles and stuff. I was like, yeah, I don't, a little something for everybody.
Yeah, it's like definitely a great variety. And probably some really fun stuff. You know, it's like, and with that being said, we've had some wonderful articles. And again, I would like to encourage any of our lawyerly people who listen to come and join us and tell us all about their takes on these cases that we've heard of recent. So hopefully you will come and join us, and we'll all have a good time and talk about it, and have some fun with it, and also educate us a little bit more on some of the new laws that are happening in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, because there's a lot of new laws happening out there, and it's hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah. And be sure also, if you get a chance to, see our updated website at www.pastlivesproductionsinc.net, as well as also keep your eyes posted on What Did She Say for more details with that. Also, as well as when you're out there, keep an eye out for some new stuff that are coming up on the horizon with us at Movietime. And so that being said, Olaf, how do they get you in social media?
Well, you can stalk me on both Facebook and Twitter at Olaf Barbosa.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't stalk too close because I do get nervous. And I do have an itchy trigger finger.
And Arpo, how do they get you on social media? What's that behind you in the window?
My reflection.
Whoa, that is scary.
If you want to be social, you can reach me on Facebook. If you want to talk a little business, you can reach me on LinkedIn. Of course, you can always just Skype me. I'm always happy to make new friends on Skype, but please be sure to tell me that you are a fan of Movietime. And I get way too many marriage proposals from Armenian women and robots who want my credit card numbers. And may I just say, I have spent 2 nights in a cabin in the woods, and I don't know what these horror movies are talking about because absolutely nothing bizarre has happened. Oh,
Well, it's lights
Yep.
out for Arpo.
Yep. And with me, you can get me on www.pastlifeproductionsinc.net, on LinkedIn, on Visipedia, on Facebook, on Twitter at Sonata Grayson, at Movietime Indie, as well as also basically with 4 pages of internet footprint. If you can't find me, you're just not stalking me hard enough. And yes, we will be having a Friday movie time for all of you. And I'm hoping that you all had a good fast and have a really great Sukkot coming up. And we're all going to have some fun because as of next week, we will be podcasting there from the lovely city of Chicago for the next couple of weeks after this one for our gala. That definitely, if you're planning on going, buy your tickets now because they are selling out way too quickly. And with that being said, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
see you Friday.
He's down but not out. Woohoo!